Hi, this is vlog post 22 of my journey to try and achieve a double bodyweight squat within 12 months of starting from end of last lockdown. I'm going to try to make this one relatively straightforward because I think in this one I could have a temptation to ramble and waffle and vent a bit. So I'm a little bit late post this one. It should have been last week, and I'm kind of glad that it's not because the tone of this one would be quite different. Up until probably the end of last week, what you would have heard is me just getting really, really frustrated. I was pretty fed up, to be honest. Pretty much the lowest point I've been in terms of the training journey, and not questioning it, not doubting whether I'm going to do it or anything to that. Just generally kind of disillusioned with training, and it's going to happen. 12 months aren't going to be kind of plain sailing, but I got a bit fed up. And the reason I got a bit fed up was I looked at the data I had for that particular week, and I'll go through those bits of data with you today. But given how much training I'd done and my knowledge and everything that I could throw at this thing, I just hadn't seen the changes. The data is just not there to say I got better body mass wise, body composition wise, strength wise. That's the main thing, isn't it? Strength wise, I'm trying to get stronger, so I should have seen some improvements in strength, and I just wasn't. And what I realised I was doing was, rather than using my knowledge and experience to push myself on and get the best out of what I was doing, I started to creep into justifying lack of progress through some fitting science to why I was seeing what I was seeing, rather than actually using it to kind of push myself on. So a little bit worried with myself this week. In terms of training, what that looked like was I just need to do more volume. I just wasn't training hard enough in the key things I wanted to get better at, so mainly being squats. So instead of doing 3 sets of 5, it's 5 sets of 5. I have like a wave loading approach. So the weights is 100, 110, 120, 110, 100. And I just need to do more volume. And one of the things that kind of really pissed me off is one of the last phases I did was 10 sets of 10, and actually I'm doing sets of 5, and actually the difference in terms of velocity wasn't much, and I should be better than that. And every couple of weeks I'll get round to doing 5 sets of 120. I think I'm making progress. And the following week I'm back down to struggling to do a set of 5 on it. I'm like, that's just not acceptable. I'm not going to get anywhere near my goals if I'm not pushing past this. It's not a plateau. It's not things. It's just I need to do more. I need to train harder, more volume. Now, time isn't infinite. I'm pretty busy, and my teaching load this semester is pretty chaotic. So I just can't throw hours and hours and hours at this. So basically what I've had to do is look at the programme and cut out some of the more kind of complementary assistant lists, which I think have some transfer and general have benefit from it. And I'm not going to kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm not going to think, oh yeah, this programme's rubbish, because generally speaking across the board I've gotten stronger, just not at the key lifts. So I just need to kind of invest more time in those key lifts. Basically I just need to spend more time squatting and less time doing things that aren't the back squat. So less exercises, more sets of the things that really kind of make a big difference. So that's going to be the thing. So that was kind of my kind of position at the probably midpoint of last week, and then just at the end of the week, I just had enough signs just to kind of pull me around a little bit, which is why I'm glad I didn't record a post last week, because I think it would have been a pretty bleak post. So just to go through the kind of why it kind of helped me pull around a little bit. So this is a screen grab from the Output Hub. So I'm now using Output quite substantially to track my progress. I'll just kind of open this up a little bit better. And I'm talking small margins here. I'm not talking like big groundbreaking changes and shifts. But this top red line was Friday's training session. Now I was pretty tired on Friday. This was done after a full day's teaching, so I didn't really have a great expectation about what the session would have, particularly considering the week I'd had mentally. But the thing I want to point out here is that actually the first repetition here is probably the fastest I've done 120 kilos for a long time. And the my velocity at the end of the set, again, small margins, but we're talking about a small margin measurement anyway, was probably as fast as it's been. So it's above that this line is a 0.25, so it's kind of getting near to 0.3. So that just gave me a little bit of a boost. That confidence is, you know what, actually there is some improvements in there, small, but they're there. So that kind of helped pull me around a little bit. Like, okay, right, I'm not going backwards, and there's a little kind of glint of hope that I'm moving forwards. Not as much as I want to be, but you know what, you got to take what's there. The power stuff I've been talking about for quite some time, and actually let's look at the trend. That's where I started off at the beginning, and that's where I am now, and that's a pretty kind of substantial trend line there. I'm getting more powerful. I'm not powerful by any stretch of the imagination. Lots of other people can produce a lot more power than I can, but I'm better than I was, and I'm consistently kind of getting better again. So yeah, let's just kind of not throw the baby out with the bathwater, as I said, and recognise some of the positives and allow them to help you feel a little bit better. The other thing that was kind of really getting me down was the body weight situation. And I came on a few weeks ago and spoke about it. It climbed back up again, and I'd approached intermittent fasting. I'm back into teaching full time. I'd throw some challenges at that, and I still had a intermittent fasting approach, but not quite the 16-8, just because teaching didn't allow necessarily to have that 8-hour eating window. So what's happened is it just basically bounced around very, very similar. It didn't really change very much, and that's, again, frustrating because I wanted to have that change. But what's actually happened in the last couple of days, you can see right at the very, very right-hand side of the graph, I'm talking, again, small margins, is just that blue line had dropped down, and it's on a trend downwards again. And actually we had 2 or 3 readings below 95 kilos, which that red line there kind of represents about that 95 kilo mark, approximately. And kind of, if you see, previously I've had not too many consistent recordings under 95. I had maybe like a week where I stayed under 95, and then it was back up and down, back up and back down, and then the odd reading here or there where it dropped below 95. So actually having a couple of readings below 95 kilos first thing in the morning was just enough again to say, right, okay, there's a little glimmer of hope again. So those 2 or 3 things just at the end of the week has just helped me kind of regather my thoughts. It hasn't convinced me that what I was doing before this week was enough. That's not the case. I still need to invest more time in the big lifts and tweak training to some degree, and just be a bit more consistent. So I have maintained calorie deficit. I've tried to eat the protein content. I've tried to keep a minimum of 12-hour eating window, like fasting period, but not quite as disciplined, as strict as I had been prior to teaching started, just because of work pressures. But hopefully that will be resolved this week, and I'll have a bit of more of a consistent plan and have a thought about how I'm going to do that. So that's kind of me at the moment. Frustrated, disappointed, not giving up. We'll come back hard and stronger, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks I can make some meaningful changes to those data, and I can actually come back and say, look, here, I had a wobble, things aren't brilliant, things aren't going to go like a linear straight line, and sometimes it's your own fault, sometimes it's just external factors, and we're going to kind of suck it up and get on with it. And the next thing is trusting the process, believe in the process, and stick to the process. You can trust the process and believe in the process, but if you don't actually walk the walk and talk the talk, then you're not going to see the benefits. And I think that's a big lesson for myself at the moment. Thank you, and hopefully I'll see you in a week's time with some more positive news.